Can you dream of a world immune to cancer? Hello everyone, my name is Nick and I'm the host of the annual live stream for The Cure, where content creators and podcasters from around the world join me to raise money for the Cancer Research Institute and immunotherapy research, which is training the body's immune system to fight against all forms of cancer. Over the past 7 years, thanks to the power of indie podcasters and the indie podcasting community and listeners just like you listening to this right now, we have raised over $90,000. And as I record this now, the 8th annual live stream for The Cure is barreling down upon us really quickly in just about 2 weeks. So join us please from May 29th through June 1st for 48 hours of amazing content from people all over the world and help us fight for a world immune to cancer. I'll now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you so much. And together, we can make a difference.
Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
This is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh?
Welcome to a brand new episode of The Pint, a pop culture podcast. My name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
And I'm Sal.
I gave Sal the signal, but he didn't get it. That's fine. You know why things are a little weird today? Because for the first time since 2022, we're back at the 215.
We're live, motherfuckers.
We're live. Living large, living live. You folks out there, Patreon folks, you folks that pay for the Pint Insiders. I put up a poll a couple weeks ago. Pick a classic 80s film that I've never seen before, including things such as Repo Man, Midnight Run. Yes, that's right. I've never seen either of those movies. And, of course, the one that I think most people kind of know that I've never seen before, Caddyshack. And guess what won? That's right. We're talking about 1980s Caddyshack.
Finally.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
All right. So Caddyshack came out on July 25th of 1980, a summer film. Before we get into it, Sal, you've seen Caddyshack, correct?
Yes.
Have you, a long time, you've seen, like, as a kid, you'd seen it?
I saw it I was an 80s kid. I saw it in the 80s, not when it came out because I was 3 and not quite appropriate. But, you know, at some point in the 80s. And then I actually had watched it again recently, maybe like 6 months ago for the first time in a while. I said, I haven't seen it in a while. I should watch it again. And then and then I watched it again.
All right. Well, I'm an 80s kid, too, and I've never seen it. Manster, you're a 50s kid.
No, I'm a 70s kid.
So what was your history with Caddyshack?
Yeah, that's a movie I've seen a number of times over the years. Yes.
Okay, so there's some familiarity there.
Yep.
Look, I'm going to tell everybody right now, because I get this all the time. I don't know why I never saw it before. It's one of those movies that just somehow slipped past me, and then it kind of became almost like a point of pride. Like Stu, our good friend Stu, was like, don't watch it. Don't do this episode. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. Because I feel like it's time. I've owned it. I watched my copy of the DVD. You know how old my copy is? It's one of those cardboard ones with the snap case. That's how long I've had that fucking thing for.
Oh, my God.
I bought it years ago. So, Caddyshack, July 25th, 1980, directed by the directorial debut of one Mr. Harold Ramis. If you want to talk about films he directed National Lampoon's Vacation right after this. He directed Groundhog Day. And he directed Multiplicity, which is a lot of people love that one. I think it's okay. I think it's fun. I just never thought it was like, are you a fan, Sal?
Never seen it, actually.
Really? Okay. All right.
I've seen it multiple times.
You've seen it on Multiplicity?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Written by Harold Ramis, again, who in his writing credits, Animal House, Ghostbusters. Brian Doyle Murray, brother of Bill Murray. If you don't know who Brian Doyle Murray is, probably the easiest way as an actor to point him out is he was Noah from Noah's Arcade from Wayne's World.
Gus from Get a Life, the TV show.
That's right. Chris
right.
Elliott. Right. So Brian Doyle Murray wrote this story based on his childhood in Winnetka, Illinois, at the Indian Hills Golf Club. He was a caddy. Harold Ramis was also a caddy at one point. Bill Murray and his brothers were caddies. So there's a lot of golf course growing up, right?
A lot of caddy hijinks in their life.
Caddy hijinks, right? You would know Brian Doyle Murray writing-wise from SNL early years, SCTV, and the Chevy Chase Show. All, 4 episodes maybe? The other writer is a guy named Doug Kenny. Now, he died a month after this movie came out. Committed suicide.
Oh,
yikes.
It's some people think he fell. He was a depressed dude. Him and Chevy Chase went to Hawaii on a vacation. Chevy Chase left to go film a movie, and the next day they found him dead at the bottom of a 30-foot fall.
That sounds like a perfect murder, though, if you're Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase got away with it.
He's like, oh, I'm going to leave. And then it happens.
Yeah.
So I have to look into that.
See you later. Doug Kenny was the co-founder of the National Lampoon over at Harvard, the magazine. He was the editor. In 2018, a movie on Netflix was made about his life called A Futile and Stupid Gesture, starring Will Forte as Doug Kenny. He also was a writer on Animal House. The lead character in Multiplicity that Michael Keaton plays is named Doug Kinney as a tribute to Doug Kenny. This was filmed in the fall of 1979 over 11 weeks. So Bushwood Country Club is the name of the club in the movie. In real life, it was Rolling Hills Golf Club in Davie, Florida. A couple other things I'm going to throw in there production-wise. The scene at the end of the movie featuring Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, which I'm sure we'll talk about, was added at the end of filming because they realized they had these two guys on here and there were no scenes between the two of them.
Oh, right.
Well, and they supposedly hated each other from the
SNL fight. Right? So, but they said they both were very cordial. They wrote the scene together along with Harold Ramis over lunch, and they got it done. John Dykstra, special effects artist, known for things such as Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, the 1978 TV show, Spider-Man 1 and 2, and stuff like Stuart Little. I'm going to throw Stuart Little in there. He was hired to do the special effects for this film, which include the lightning strike that hits the bishop.
Yeah.
Rat farts.
The groundhogs?
The groundhog.
Yeah.
Which the groundhog scenes were all filmed at the end. They were not involved earlier, and the screenwriters, Doug Kinney in particular, hated the groundhog stuff. Hated it. Thought it was like lowbrow, even though the movie's not highbrow,
right?
But thought that like we don't need this like physical comedy through this whole thing. This movie, one thing I learned about this movie watching some of the behind the scenes stuff is this thing changed daily.
Yeah.
The original idea of this movie, we'll get into it, was supposed to be about the caddies. The actors who play the caddies were like pissed off because as they are hiring these actors to come in, these bigger actors or these comedians, their roles got smaller and smaller and smaller. So we'll get into that in a second. But John Dykstra, who worked on Star Wars, helped work on the Gopher and the Lightning and the tunnels, all the tunnels. All right, so that's kind of the production stuff, Manster. Why don't we get into this big old fucking juicy nasty ass cast?
Big old cast.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Chevy Chase as Ty Webb, born Cornelius Crane Chase. So, I don't know, Chevy?
Yeah.
Or Cornelius?
Chevy.
Chevy, for sure.
I like Cornelius.
Yeah, he's the son of one of the Bushwood Country Club founders. And I guess he owns several lumber yards.
He definitely owns a couple. He doesn't know about them, but he owns a couple.
So, a little bit about Chevy. You spoke. He's a breakout cast member of the first season of Saturday Night Live. He had that weekend update segment that became a staple of the show, even to this very day, which is pretty incredible. One season?
One.
That's all he lasted. And so he was in some other stuff you might know: Foul Play, the Vacation movies, Fletch, Spies Like Us, Three Amigos. He was in that NBC show Community.
Oh, yeah. And another place he got into a fight, supposedly, with Joel McHale.
You saw that where Joel McHale got in trouble for dislocating his shoulder?
Yeah. And supposedly, he had not any good things at all to say about him and the experience there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has been known as a cantankerous old son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed in this movie, and I'm going to get right into the sounding gay portion of the show, is he's actually a pretty good-looking guy. Like, in this movie, he's athletic-looking. Like,
I'd fuck that dimple on his chin.
Yeah. No, but I mean, seriously, like, you go a couple years later, and he's Clark Griswold, and he's kind of like this put-upon...
Yeah, I never thought it. Like, I knew him more from that stuff originally, and I kind of forgot until I rewatched this a while ago that, like, oh, yeah, he's like the ladies' man in this and supposed to be like, ooh, the Bachelor... It's like, oh, you kind of think of him as like the dope.
Yeah. Yeah. He's clearly an athletic guy. He's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fuckable Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
I'll take
it. Moving on, we got Rodney Dangerfield as Al Cervic. He was born Jacob Cohen.
Okay. I thought you were going to go like hardcore, like Russian name.
No. Basically he's a successful golfer and real estate developer in this movie. So he started doing comic writing, stand-up when he was 15 years old in New York.
I love Rodney. He's fucking hilarious. And a lot of comedians owe their career to Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of stuff, even as a young man. It's pretty incredible. And even to this day, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a commercial on TV about roofing, and he's one of the voices of one of the roof tiles or something.
No.
Really?
Yeah. No. I see it every morning on NBC.
He has the single most, like, this movie might have the single most strange and weird ending line ever. Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid. Like, what?
He was in Easy Money, Back to School, Ladybugs, Natural Born Killers.
He's great in Natural Born Killers. He's such a fucking cretin in that movie.
This next guy I love, Ted Knight, as, I guess, Elihu Smales. Judge, who is one of the founders of the country club, and he directs that caddy program. So, you know where he was born?
Cherryville, Connecticut, which I did not know until doing research for this.
Yeah.
Connecticut's own Ted Knight. And also, the joke was with Rodney Dangerfield, Ted Knight has a real Polish name. His name was like Terezak. It was crazy.
There's another one with another name.
Yeah, but like a hardcore name. Like,
like you said, born in Terryville, dropped out of high school to enlist in the Army, became a World War II combat engineer battalion, earned battle stars while serving in the European theater.
Yeah.
This guy was the real deal. He came back. He studied acting in Hartford, Connecticut.
Connecticut's own.
He was proficient in puppeteering and ventriloquism,
which he utilized on his hit TV show Too Close for Comfort, because he was a cartoonist with that cow.
Yep, yeah, that's right.
Oh, right.
Totally forgot about that. And in one of the most famous Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Oh, which one?
Psycho. He was the cop.
Yes.
Outside the door when Norman Bates was in that interrogation or whatever.
Yep, I remember we didn't do an episode on Psycho, but I watched it not too long ago. Around the time we did the 98.
Yep.
I watched it around then, and I remember looking at some of the trivia.
I remember every time I watch Psycho, I see him, I'm like, oh, damn, that's Ted Knight. And I never remember the next time I watch it.
You know what I was getting confused with was me and Stu last year did on the Pint Insider, we did... Oh, fuck, what is that movie with Robert Mitchum where he plays the preacher?
Oh, Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter. And in Night of the Hunter, the kid's father that's in one scene before he gets arrested is Peter Graves.
Yeah.
Before he was popular, before he was famous. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And like you said, he played Henry Rush in Too Close for Comfort.
He hated Monroe, man. He was always fucking yelling at Monroe.
Then we have Michael O'Keefe as Danny Noonan. The teenager, basically. The plot centers around him.
Does it?
It really doesn't have a plot, right? It's just a guy trying to make money for college. And
let me drop in real quick on this.
Yeah.
Being the guy that's never seen Caddyshack before. Everything that I thought was the plot of Caddyshack is not the plot of Caddyshack. I thought that the plot of Caddyshack was, I thought Rodney Dangerfield was the lead character. And I thought that it was about him upsetting the judge. I always, just from knowing about the movie, it's not. Then at one point in the movie, they introduced the idea of this caddy golf tournament that seems like it's going to be the big thing. It's over in one scene. Then I think that a large portion of the movie takes place about Bill Murray versus the Gopher. Only a few scenes. Every fucking thing in this movie that I thought was the biggest part of the movie is not. This movie is just a bunch of vignettes.
Yes. And I'll get into that when I do my rating. So he also played Ben Meacham in The Great Santini, for which he received a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Michael O'Keefe.
Yeah, he was on Roseanne, right?
He was on
Jackie's
Roseanne.
husband.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Jackie Laurie Metcalf's husband. Also was married to Bonnie Raitt from 1991 to 99.
Let's give him something to talk about.
Yeah. Nice. And then, of course, we have Bill Murray as Carl Spackler, the mentally unstable. Like, what was that little affect he put on him?
Something's wrong with that guy.
Yeah.
He
curled his lip up and
he's got a penchant for older women.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The first scene when you meet him and he's washing the ball, but it looks like he's jerking off while watching the Golden Girls golf is fucking hilarious.
He's looking at the old ladies' asses.
I'm going to just jump ahead real quick. This doesn't play into my rating, but he has the scene in the movie that I laughed out loud the hardest at. It's when the judge gets hit by the lightning and he fucking takes off on it. He looks around and then he throws the shit down and just goes. I laughed hilariously at that.
That was awesome. Yep. And if you want to hear anything more about him, go back and listen to our Ghostbusters episode.
Yeah, or Lost in Translation, we've done a few.
Sarah Holcomb as Maggie O'Hooligan, Danny's girlfriend and coworker with the accent.
I thought the pregnancy scare was going to be a big part of the movie too. It's not. Yeah, no, nothing's a big part of this movie.
Everything in this movie is kind of like a mulligan or whatever you call it, MacGuffin.
Yeah.
If you recall, her first role was as the 13-year-old daughter in National Lampoon's Animal House.
Yes. Yeah, I heard she has a pretty tasty nude scene.
Yeah, 13-year-old nude scene. Then we have Cindy Morgan as Lacey Underall. That's the judge's promiscuous niece.
Yeah, I'm going to just keep saying this. Another part that I thought was going to be a major part of the movie was a love story between her and Ty. And it only lasts as long as they bang, and then she bangs Michael O'Keefe like 2 scenes later.
Yeah. Well, when you hear her name's Lacey Underall, it's like they're a little on the nose there.
Yeah.
So she also played Laura/Yori in Tron, the very first computer-generated movie in 1978. And she was also the Irish Spring Girl.
Oh, okay.
In that year.
82 for Tron. 82. Before someone yells at us.
Oh, okay. Well,
someone will yell at us. I'll get a message. Lloyd doesn't know what he's talking about. Tron was filmed in 1981 and released in 82. It wasn't even conceptualized in 78.
She died last year of natural causes.
At 69.
Yeah, 69.
Lacey Underall, 69.
In her home. I guess she just found dead in her home.
John Peters, the producer of this film, tried to get a Playboy photographer on the set to take pictures of her. You heard that?
I heard. There's some creepy stuff going on there. He wanted to do, shoot on the set.
Yeah.
Nude, pictures.
And she did not want that.
It.
Yeah, she was like, no thanks. This movie... we joke a lot. The joke is always with 80s, fueled on cocaine. Michael O'Keefe, literally, interview I watched said this movie was filmed and fueled on cocaine.
Absolutely.
They said they partied every night. Harold Ramis didn't party at all.
Or Bill Murray.
And then I think Harold Ramis partied on the rap party, and he got so fucked up so quickly that he just passed out. Michael O'Keefe said by the time the rap party happened, all the people that had been partying the whole time didn't feel like partying anymore.
Right.
Well, because when they filmed it on the golf course, they stayed at a hotel on the golf course.
Yeah.
So they just afterwards, they didn't have to worry about leaving or whatever. They were all just like, all right, let's go. And
let's fucking go.
Cocaine.
It's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. All right, I'll do a few more here. I'll just go through them quick. Scott Columby as Tony D'Annunzio, Danny's coworker and rival. You might remember him from Porky's.
I've never seen Porky's, which might lead to another episode.
Right. Dan Resin as Dr. Beeper, the judge's golfing partner. Henry Wilcoxon as Fred Pickering, the Episcopalian bishop and golfing friend. And Rat fucks.
Rat farts.
And finally, Brian Doyle Murphy as Lou Loomis, the head of the country club's Caddyshack that Danny and Maggie work for.
Yeah.
Caddy Master.
Yeah, Caddy Master.
He is the caddy master.
Did they do all their films together, him and Bill?
Well, I mean, he's in a lot of
I'm
them.
trying to remember like a movie that I've seen just him in.
The one, John Murray is also in it. Like he's like one of the caddy extras, I believe.
Oh, okay. John Murray's in a favorite of mine, Moving Violations.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Scrooged.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a good one.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Brian Doyle Murray, without Bill Murray, was in Cabin Boy.
Ah, okay.
Cabin Boy.
All right.
He's like, is he the captain of the ship? I can't remember.
Which is weird because he's in Get a Life with Chris Elliott. So
Right.
it's like, that's weird.
Yeah, they're probably buddies. So this is a tough one to kind of talk about, like kind of sequentially through.
Right, because it's all vignettes.
It's all vignettes. But here's the idea. It starts off with, our hero caddy, Danny, who his childhood or his home life is based on the Murray household, which had 8 kids, except his household has way more than fucking 8 kids.
I don't understand what was going on there.
I was like, is this a foster home? But they never get back to it.
No.
No, there was so many fucking kids in that house.
Because the father, they say, who are you? Oh, that's your niece or nephew or something. And
Yeah.
so it's like,
Yeah,
oh.
he can't even keep track.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. So he lives at home. He's been a caddy. His dad wants him to go to college, but he's content with fucking around and being a caddy all summer long. We get to the golf course and we start to meet the people that like inhabit this country club. The judge, who's a complete fucking douche knuckle. Although I'm gonna just be totally honest with you, and I'm gonna sound like a bad guy here, but when it comes to the Rodney Dangerfield stuff, the judge is right 99% of the time. Rodney Dangerfield in this movie is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Come on, agree with me.
Yeah,
But
but he's
that's
the
why he's
cleanup
great.
hitter of the movie.
What's that?
He's the cleanup hitter of the movie.
Right, but Sal, do you not agree though that like the judge is correct in his?
Yeah, well, he's needling him the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, so you can get why he freaking loses it on him, but at the same time, that's the best part.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, he comes in, he's loud and obnoxious, and he makes fun of his hat. So
What did you get, a free bowl of soup with that?
yeah, it's a come with a free bowl of soup.
He's-
Looks good on you.
He irritates the judge because he is what they call like a nouveau riche, like he's new money. He's a condo developer. Sal, give us a description of his golf bag. What kind of shit does he have going on there?
It's like the Inspector Gadget bag with the radio and the golf club flying out, and
It's like R2-D2 but a golf bag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He's got a fucking radio. He's got an ejector for the fucking wedge. At one point, they're watching TV on it.
Right?
which is why it's larger than his caddy.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he starts the music playing, and then
Oh.
everyone's dancing, and you see Rodney Dangerfield dancing.
Yeah.
I don't know. They must have told him just do the weirdest, stupidest thing ever.
The Rodney Dangerfield dance is a classic. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
right
so
up there
good.
with like, the Steve Martin dance, and there's just certain people.
Yeah, the Elaine dance.
Yeah.
Fucking to what was it? It was Journey. Any way you want.
Yeah, any way you want
Yeah.
it.
So we got those two storylines. Carl Spackler is the creepy as fuck, possibly mentally challenged Bill Murray. He's the assistant groundskeeper, which, by the way, the groundskeeper, seeing this movie for the first time, makes me realize I think that's where they got Groundskeeper Willie from.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I had never noticed that before, and I was like, okay, that guy, that seems like it could be Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, the groundskeeper's a Scottish dude. The B plot in the movie is that the judge is pissed because they have gophers on the course. And you can't have gophers on a golf course
No.
because, if that is true, like, what a nightmare. Like, that gopher just fucks that place up.
Yeah.
Tunneling.
And it seems to be only one gopher, but
Seems to be one.
there's got to be more than one.
Yeah. But I think he's the main culprit.
Yeah.
He's the main culprit. We have some of the caddies we get to meet. We have the D'Annunzio character he's just there to get into fights with Danny, the Irish girl who Danny is fucking around with and possibly gets pregnant. That actress in real life ended up being schizophrenic. She didn't do anything pretty much after this movie. She actually had like a lot of mental issues and kind of disappeared out of Hollywood. So who else? Who else am I missing, Master? Who else do we have? What other B plots do we have?
Well, you've got Chevy Chase. You got them all. I mean, there's so many plots going on.
We got Chevy Chase as the really good golfer too.
Right.
Right. They have the one scene where he hits all those putts with the $6 million
Oh, that was
man.
an awesome scene, right?
Yeah. Kicks a couple in. What is he? He knocks one in, kicks one in.
He's barefoot the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. And again, remember, Sal, this is fuckable Chevy Chase.
He's counseling Danny, making sure he's taking his drugs.
Yes. Danny is looking at Ty as, just asking him questions about like what life's going to be like when he gets older. How do I do this? How do I do that? This movie just bounces around. Again, they talked about it. Like, it was supposed to be about the caddies, and then it's not about the caddies pretty much at all. I do want to give a shout out to another scene that I laughed fucking out loud at, is when the judge tells the bishop the joke, and it ends with a colored boy, and then he gives his shoes to the African American gentleman who's like the club, like maybe like one of the club concierges.
Yeah.
And he's like, buff these out for me. So I'll reset the scene up. He tells the guy to buff the shoes out. Guy goes over to do it. And then he tells this joke. And then they show the guy behind the counter, and he's like, did he say colored boy, that motherfucker? And then he puts his fucking shoe to what looks like a grinding stone, and there's sparks flying off of it.
And he's got that look on his face.
He's so fucking mad.
Yeah.
He's just fucking running the shoe under the fucking grinding stone. Oh, I fucking laughed at that.
Yeah.
Lacey Underwood, or Underall, she's the judge's niece. She comes into town. Oh, there's a party on a yacht at one point. Sal, hit me up with some stuff that happens in this movie that I'm not thinking of. Like,
aside from her trying to get with everyone basically in the movie?
Yeah.
Well, Danny's girlfriend's pregnant.
But that's
there's a scare.
It's a scare.
Yeah.
But it goes nowhere.
Yeah, and she's just kind of there. It's like, clearly something got cut out of the movie when it was all about the caddies, and they're like, well, we feel bad totally cutting her out of the movie, so here's like a scene.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thought it was going to end up being like, first of all, she's pregnant. Okay, is it about her being pregnant? And then I'm like, oh, is it about like they're going to have drama because he sleeps with Lacey? And then by the time they even get to that, nobody even cares about the Irish girl anymore. She might not even show up in the movie again.
Right, I don't think so.
And she doesn't even like Danny, really, when he's like, all right, okay, you're pregnant. And she's like, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, she even said might not even be yours.
Yeah, right.
I do like that. I like that line because, like, I think he thinks he's like the man, and she's in love with him, and she's just fucking whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm trying to think.
Well, then we find out about the caddy tournament, and the money.
And again, Danny needs money to go to college.
Right. So it comes back to that plot,
and he wins the tournament fairly easily.
But third place is a pair of socks.
And then we just move on from that too.
Didn't they have like a trophy, like a lineup, a trophy lineup?
There was a trophy, then there was I don't know what was for first place, but second place was like a bag of teas, and then third place was a bag of socks.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I didn't even notice that.
And the first place was, I don't know, it was like $5,000 or something.
But yeah, it's over in literally 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Right.
Like, I thought when they mentioned it in the movie, I thought, oh, this, it's a comedy, but it's a sports comedy. It's going to lead. It's going to lead into the tournament being like the final.
No, but is it toward the end, or is it still like only halfway
flat
through?
in the middle?
Yeah,
it's in the middle.
Flat in the middle because the end is the bet. But
that's where you get the term Noonan, where you want someone to mess up, so you just say Noonan.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is where they have that like dinner early on where Rodney Dangerfield shows up, and it's basically just a Rodney Dangerfield roast of the entire room.
Yeah.
Where he's just laying into everyone the whole time, and there's so many good one-liners there.
The Ramis. Two things about Ramis. It's okay. Two things about Ramis. Ramis admitted years later that he was not a fan of this movie because he felt like what they ended up with was not what he wanted, meaning the caddy story and stuff. Like he was disappointed in this movie comparatively to other things he did. Number two, he could not get Rodney Dangerfield to understand that action meant to go. And he said, so they kept setting up scenes and he would go action and Rodney would do nothing. And then he would say, the other actors are moving in the background. He's like, Rodney, when I say action, you go. And he goes, what do you mean I go? And he goes, oh, you mean do my bit? And he goes, okay. So literally for the rest of filming, the way he would get Rodney Dangerfield to move on action would be go, Rodney, do your bit. And he would start performing.
All right.
You just didn't get it.
And he also, people weren't laughing, so he thought he was doing like a poor job because it was his first movie. So he's like, why aren't people laughing? And it's like, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
Did Rodney look slim to you guys?
Well, slimmer.
Yeah, he looked pretty slim to me. Like
cocaine is maybe slimming.
That's right.
Oh, I tell you, I'm all fucked up.
I mean, you look at him, the whole movie, he's like, his legs are moving, twitching, and
he's shaky.
He does not stand still in any single scene.
Yeah, I don't think Rodney Dangerfield ever looked younger than like 62 either.
Right.
Like, this is the youngest you've ever seen him, other than his stand-up stuff from the 70s. But movie-wise, this is the youngest you've ever seen him. And he still looks old than fuck. He's probably, that's a good game. We'll have to look it up. Maybe you can look it up. How old was Rodney Dangerfield when they made this movie? I bet you Tom Cruise is older right now than Rodney Dangerfield was when they made this movie.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's just not a picture of health, that's for sure. The Baby Ruth scene. I've been waiting forever to see this thing. It's fun. It's funny. It's not great
for you.
Did you bring a Baby Ruth?
I almost forgot to give you that.
Thanks, Sal. Thank you. I think I read in the movie too that they took the H off not to get in trouble.
One for you, Manster.
Oh, I love a Baby
Listen to that
Ruth.
crinkle. That's an actual Baby Ruth right there. Yeah. So we get a little bit of Jaws parody in that scene with the music and the actual scene itself when a kid drops a Baby Ruth into the pool.
I mean, this is like one of the like classic 80s scenes. If you like iconic 80s scenes, it definitely has to be up there in the top 10.
Can you pause?
Well,
we'll just edit it out.
Yeah, I'll edit it. It's easier.
Hey Siri, how old was Rodney Dangerfield when he filmed Caddyshack?
On top of breaking big in his mid-40s, Dangerfield was pushing 60 when he got his first leading role in a movie, the 1980 comedy Caddyshack, in which he co-starred with two of the biggest young comedy stars of the era, Chevy Chase.
Of the era?
And Bill Murray. So he was pushing 60 when he filmed this.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay.
Tom Cruise is like
So actually
58.
looked good for 60 then, probably.
Yeah. I don't know how. Well, Siri, shut the fuck up. Siri, shut your fucking face. Whore. So the Baby Ruth scene has some like Jaws, like little bit of Jaws stuff going on there, which I appreciated. There was another. What was the other? There's another callback to a movie in this that I picked up on, and it was a movie from right around that time. Fuck, I can't. I'll think of it later on. But there's the Jaws thing. Well, obviously the 10 Commandments with the lightning. With
they did like the water ballet, which is, kind of throwback move. I'm sure that, movie, I'm sure, it's kind of known in a lot of things.
Actually, I was watching that in, it was like, is he tripping or dreaming or is that really happening?
Which scene?
The water ballet, the little synchronized swimming scene in the pool.
In the pool? I don't
they were all, everybody in the pool was doing a little, circular synchronized swimming.
Like synchronized swimming, yeah.
I did not fall asleep during this movie, and I don't remember that at all.
You don't remember?
It's all like all the caddies, and like actually, Funk mentioned this too. One of the you could see one of the caddies is wearing his shoes in the pool and everything, and it's like a really elegant dancer, and it's right before the Baby Ruth, so it's like a great contrast because you have this all nice light music and they're all dancing in the water, and then comes the Baby Ruth. And
you don't remember, huh?
I feel crazy for saying it. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, like everyone in the pool was involved in this.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it goes on for like 30 seconds too.
It's a long scene.
Wow, okay. I think of the pool scene, it's the two girls talking about the candy gets dropped in.
Yeah, duty.
Yeah, and then I didn't realize I knew that there was that whole thing with the candy of the Baby Ruth. I never knew that it ended with Bill Murray eting it. I never knew that. Yeah. And I love the fact too, because I was waiting for him to say it's just candy, but he doesn't. I like a lot of the stuff that revolves around the judge's wife. Like the scene where she's in the shower and Danny ends up in the bathroom with her.
Oh yeah, and she gives him the
looks
eyes.
at him and she gives him the eyes. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god.
The kid who barfed in the car,
the fucking kid that barfed in the moonroof, and then the guy sits in the fucking
he slid forward.
Yeah,
you hear the
that was fairly fucking gross. The whole scene on the yacht with dropping anchor on on the judge's
he was
little.
Such a prick.
Yeah, yeah. Rodney Dangerfield's a menace in this movie.
He is.
I almost feel bad for Judge Smales, even though he's a real dickhead, because he's trying to keep his country club classy. And not that, you could bring in other people, but Rodney Dangerfield's just breaking all the fucking rules right from the beginning. Oh, he fucking irritated me in this movie.
I loved him in this movie.
Did you really?
Yeah, no, we'll get into the ratings, but that's one of the best parts about the movie to me is he's just laying into everyone the entire movie. The one-liners, are just
I did like the
classic.
The bowl of soup.
I
with the
agree.
hat.
And then, of course, you got the whole Bill Murray, thing with the Gophers. And he's got his arsenal, and he's making all these C4 bunnies and all these different creatures.
I liked it. I actually liked some of the other Bill Murray stuff better. I liked the weirdness with his specific want of the older women.
Yep.
I also really liked the scene, and it was improvised, and the other actor felt uncomfortable when he's talking to the caddy and he's got the pitchfork pointed at him.
When was that?
It's maybe halfway through the movie. He's talking to, I think, D'Annunzio's younger brother, and I don't remember even what he's talking about, but he's holding a pitchfork, and he's got it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know, yeah, I know what you're referencing. I don't remember it in the movie, but I know what you're referencing.
So he's just talking to him, and he's just blabbing about nothing like he does, but he's got the pitchfork held up against the kid, and he's not doing it violently or threateningly, but the kid is just looking at the pitchfork the whole time. And in the notes I read, the actor was like, that wasn't planned. Bill Murray just did that. And he's was really watching the pitchfork.
Yeah.
Well, he had no dialogue in this movie. He made up everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was given some points, but it was hey, do something like this. And then he just did it.
Yeah. When they brought him in to be Carl and they decided to add the gopher aspect to it at the end of, before production began, it was supposed to be a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner cartoon that was taking place in between. And like you said, there was no dialogue. And then they hired Bill Murray, and it's tons of dialogue. Well, at least when he's in it, he's just nonstop talking.
Yeah.
And what he says, his line, again, he, next to Rodney Dangerfield, he's got all the lines.
Yeah, he's
memorable lines.
And I think some of my favorite of him is when he's at the Flowers and he's doing the golf Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Which I read was initially a 20-minute long scene.
Yeah.
That he just kept talking and going on and on and on, and they just kind of cut it down.
And that leads into the whole judge on the in the rainstorm, right?
Yeah. Supposedly the original cut of this was 4 hours, and it was
oh my God.
Bill Murray's scenes were all a half an hour long.
Yeah, I read that too. That would have been fucking insufferable. That would have been insufferable.
Release the Bill Murray cut.
the BMC.
Right.
Get fucking Zack Snyder on. We need 38% more slow motion. We need a little bit more Cyborg and some Aquaman, and round this fucking thing out. Let's fucking do this. All right. We've talked about some of the scenes that we like a lot. The final kind of battle between Danny and Ty and the judge and Dr. Beeper. There's no betting in this course, right? It's one of the rules. The judge decides, to kind of get rid of Al, that they're going to have this big fucking matchup. I don't know. Again, by the time we got around to this, I didn't realize this was going to be what the movie was coming down to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you feel I don't know. Do you feel like it's a good, memorable finale for a sports movie? Like for example, Major League, the final game in Major League. That's a memorable finale in a sports movie.
It's only memorable because of the end with the gopher. It's
Right.
if you didn't have that, who cares? You could cut out the last 20 minutes of the movie because you kind of know what it's building to. You probably, I don't know, you didn't see it, but hadn't seen it. If you can sense kind of where things are going when you see the C4 going in all the holes and everything.
Carl makes all the C4 squirrels and everything. I'm like, this is going to end with a giant fucking explosion.
Yeah.
And did you read about that explosion?
No.
So the movie ends. At the end of the movie, if you've never seen it before, if you're listening, which I'm the only one that's never seen it before. They have the final golf matchup. The good guys end up winning.
Right. Well, it comes down to Danny's final putt, and it falls just a millimeter short of the hole.
Just right short of the hole. But meanwhile, Carl has been layering C4 throughout the course to kill the gopher. It's a fucking megaton of fucking C4. It's enough to fucking destroy like a fucking battleship. And he eventually lets it go. And they had to contact the local airport and tell them they were doing this because the explosion was so fucking hard that it could have interfered with like low flying planes. There was an airport very close to there, like smaller engine airport. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. Like everything just fucking blows the fuck up.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the ending, it's kind of your typical 80s. I feel like, all comes down to this like, match between them. But I for the thing that's weird to me is like, are you supposed to be rooting for Chevy Chase in it? Like he's almost as unlikable as the rest of the crew there.
I like him the most. Maybe because it's fuckable Chevy Chase.
Maybe.
Like the judge is a real asshole.
Yeah.
And Dangerfield's a real fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like a real fucking asshole.
But you should have been rooting against them because it was Dangerfield and...
I know, but I also don't want, like, authority to win either. I don't want the judge to win because he's a fucking douche, But I mean, again, go back to... The Dangerfield destroys the fucking judge's fucking boat.
Yeah.
Right? And he doesn't... He's rich. It's not like he says, I'll take care of that.
Well, you're supposed to root for Dangerfield. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel that way. Maybe I'm...
Wow. You're on the side of Big Country Club.
I think I am. I think I am. To make it even sadder, if you want to go one step further and make this an even sadder episode, I've seen Caddyshack too. Because when I was a kid, it was on HBO all the time.
Yeah, I remember when it was on all the time and seeing bits and pieces, but
because they traded out one Dangerfield, like I'm assuming, right, like a Jewish comedian, with Jackie Mason in that one.
Yeah, it's notoriously bad, I believe.
Yeah, and that one I think had Dan Aykroyd as the gopher hunter, and it's garbage.
I've seen it. I don't even remember. I do remember Mason being in it, but.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's definitely not good. Master, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we move into other stuff?
No, I think that's it. Other than the Kenny Loggins song that, that ends it. Yeah. The great song. So iconic to me. I mean, that was a huge hit.
King of the 80s soundtracks.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, let's just list them off, right? Caddyshack, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Footloose. Mm-hmm. He's got a couple more on that one. Fucking I'm Free. That's fun.
Right.
Oh, I love that song. Over the Top. Meet me halfway.
Jeez. Yeah. You remember, I can't even remember all these.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Danger Zone.
Fucking
Playing with the Boys, which is not just a song title, but it's a way of life for me. Yeah. No, Kenny Loggins fucking, there was from 1980 to 87, say, 86 was Top Gun. People just called that motherfucker in. Yep. Like, we need a hit for this fucking movie.
Yep. I read, and I don't know how true this is, but they supposedly, when they were asking, like, what do you want for music? Harold Ramis said Pink Floyd.
I reid that too.
I saw that.
I'm like, that can't be true.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. Again, as I said before, Ramis said he was disappointed in this movie. I think he wanted it to be like what Brian Doyle Murray probably originally wanted to write, was a story about the caddies and their summer. Right? Because this is, like, we've talked about this before. This is a kind of movie that I would classify as, I've always called it a hang movie. Dazed and Confused is a hang movie. There's no real plot to it. It's just you're following a group of characters through their day. Everybody Wants Some is a hang movie, right? This is a hang movie in the end. But I think if you didn't bring in Rodney Dangerfield, if you didn't bring in Bill Murray, if you didn't bring in Chevy Chase, if you didn't like add all these like major stars to play kind of like, like co-lead roles,
then you probably would have had a good Caddy movie.
I think it would have been like maybe, again, not same plot wise. It could have been like The Sandlot, where it just follows these, older than The Sandlot kids, but follows these kids. But they went for the laugh. And that's fine. But I think somewhere in here, there could have been a good Caddy movie.
Yeah.
That followed these caddies. That where stuff like her getting pregnant actually made a difference. You know what I mean? Like
nothing in this movie really makes a difference.
Nothing does.
No, because it's basically like, just put these funny people together and let them do their thing.
Do your thing.
I'd really like to, compare what's there compared to like the script, because it's like probably 25% written lines.
Yeah, and they did say they improvised the fuck out of this thing, so.
Yeah. But, would you be talking about it now if it was just a Caddy movie?
No.
No, very possibly not. Very possibly not. All right, let's go back. Jesus Christ, what are we, 44 years?
Yeah.
Let's go back 44 years and talk about the box office of 1980, Manster.
Where's the money? When are you going to get the money? Why aren't you getting the money now? And so on. So please, the money.
So we have a budget of $6 million. And on the opening weekend, made half of that back, $3.1 million. And made $39.8 million.
Big
I don't usually do this, but, adjusted for inflation, that's $159.6 million.
Nice.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
That is. It did its job.
So for that weekend, I've only got 2 movies. Caddyshack came in number 2. And what do you think came in number 1?
Empire Strikes Back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And on the year, Caddyshack came in number 17, so not so bad for a comedy movie.
No, I almost would have thought it would have been higher.
Well, I think when it came out, it got really beat on by the critics.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
actually,
I can imagine.
There's a bunch of comedies in the top 5. So you got Any Which Way You Can, number 5, Airplane, ! Number 4, Stir Crazy, number 3, 9 to 5, number 2, and of course, Empire Strikes Back, $209 million.
I feel a disturbance in the force. Yeah, nice. All right, let's rate this fucking thing.
Don't judge me, monkey.
0 to 5. 0 being the worst you can get, 5 being the best you can get, quarter and half scale optional. I'm going to go first. Never seen this before. I'm glad I saw it. I got the monkey off my back, but I will say this. It might be because I've only seen it once. It might be because I didn't grow up with it. This is not a top tier 80s comedy movie to me.
Mm.
You could throw 5 to 10 classic 80s comedies at me right now, and I feel like I'm going to tell you they're better than this. Naked Gun's better than this. Airplane, which you just mentioned, is fucking light years better than this.
Both are better.
Both are better. Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers is an 80s movie. Way better than this. Way better than this. Blues Brothers was 1980 as well. This is a fun movie. It definitely has I understand the classic appeal of it. I understand the likability of Bill Murray and Chevy Chase and Rodney Dangerfield. It was not what I expected. I truly expected a kind of a mostly linear plot movie where things happen, and instead it really is just kind of like a day in the life of this country club. And I didn't dislike that. I didn't laugh as hard as I thought I would, but I also wonder if that's because I knew so many of the jokes before they happened. I did not know the Bishop and his best game ever, and I laughed throughout that whole thing. Because I felt like that was fresh. The course record. And you better put this on, Bishop. And he's put the poncho on, and it's fucking raining sideways. And he's so excited. And then I had to look it up. I paused the movie after Bill Murray split on him after he got struck by lightning to look up what he yelled. And it's "Oh rat farts." And I swear to fuck, I'm going to use that daily. I'm going to use "Oh rat farts" daily in my life now. But it is an enjoyable movie. I understand why people think it's a classic. I'm glad it's off of my never seen list. But I'm going to be generous and give it a 3. That's generous to me. I'm going to be generous and give this movie a 3. I can't picture me hopping back to this on my own anytime soon. I'm over Sal's house. We're having 15 beers. We're having a good time. Sal doesn't drink, so I'll drink all his beers. And he says, "You want to watch Caddyshack?" I'm going to say yes, absolutely, every time. I'm home alone drinking 15 beers, and the DVD of Caddyshack is sitting right next to me. I'm probably not going to put it in. I'm probably going to watch Pacific Rim again or something. All right. All right. We'll leave the Manster for last.
Yeah,
we're going to go over to our friend Sal. Sal, before you rate Caddyshack, tell everybody about your awesome, incredible, fucking amazing endeavor over there with the Robber Barons Inc.
Okay, well, I don't know if I can sell it as good as that, but Robber Barons Inc., for all your pop culture, nerdy t-shirts, food-related, all kinds of things, just all kinds of things we like to wear. But you can find us at robberbaronsinc.com, though I think everyone probably knows about us on the podcast because you're always talking about it. But
doesn't matter. If you haven't gone to their site, again, Inc. with a K, I-N-K, you got to go. The shirts are affordable. They're well made. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound stupid to say, but it's the truth. I have a ton of Robert Barron's Inc. shirts. They are, for me, and I'm a big guy. I'm a 4XL. Like, I can get 3XL, but 4XL is where I'm more comfortable. They're the best fitting shirts. I don't know. I know that you don't make the shirts, but I'm going to give you credit for your supplier.
Well, yeah, I don't sew the shirts, but I wear them at various, when you're at a con for 3 days wearing your stuff and you want to be comfortable. And at one point, you start out, you're like, it doesn't really matter the shirt. But as you're wearing them, I always say we like to wear, we're wearing these all day. We like to have comfortable, durable stuff and stuff that's going to last. And
I don't know what it means, but they're ring spun. And
that means it's a little softer than your standard scratchy cotton.
Okay, well, they're comfortable as fuck.
It's good. The
Good on the
T-shirts
knits.
are all about the comfort. You're not going to wear it if it's not comfortable.
No.
But yeah, check us out. We're at a bunch of conventions coming up this year. We got the big con run coming up in Kineticon, Terrificon, CT Horror Fest, and all that stuff as well.
Go buy shirts at Robert Barron's Inc.
Robert Barron's Inc.
All right, Sal, what do you give Caddyshack? If you give it a 5, I'm going to throw you through that fucking window behind you, by the way.
Well, I have a feeling I'm going to be like the compromise of the two of you guys because I agree it's not in my top echelon of 80s movies. There's definitely, it's, not even one of my top like Chevy Chase movies probably, but it is funny. It's got a lot of quotable lines, but as a movie as a whole, I'm, because the plot is just not really a plot. It's hard to give it too high a rating, but, Rodney Dangerfield, I said I love in it. Bill Murray, I love in it. So I'm going to go a 3.75.
All right, fair. The Master's got that look on his face like he's going to go 5. If he goes 5, I might throw him through that fucking
Well,
window.
if I went first, that's possible.
Yeah, I almost think. See, you're tough because when you don't go first, a lot of times you're like, oh, they stole my thunder. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But then when you do go first, you give shit like Problem Child a 5. You just get so excited. You're like a fucking dog with a bone.
No, I think you'll appreciate my rating for this.
All right.
So to me, it's got the ultimate nostalgia. All right. So you don't see what I see because you don't have the nostalgia of seeing this with your cousins and then quoting all these great lines when you're like 15 years old or whatever. Right. So I've got that. So many great lines. We barely even touched them, but it's in the hole. It's in the hole. All that stuff. Oh, I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for a while.
Yes.
It's raining sideways, and he's saying that. It's
What,
so
somebody
funny.
step on a duck?
Yeah.
Oh, when he farts. Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch. So many good lines. But I agree. It struggles to find its own consistent tone.
Oh, big time.
It's basically a host of all the comedic styles of all the actors that are in it.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's kind of like a disjointed plot. Nothing ever leads to anything else. It's just sort of this and this. But you got all the good stuff. You got the Bill Murray's self-absorbed sort of nutty craziness. Chevy Chase's laid back, attitude. Ted Knight's furious overacting on everything. Rodney Dangerfield, like I said before, I feel like he's just like the cleanup batter that comes in and hits the home run. And then you end it all with, I'm all right. And it's just ear candy. And for me, it's a nostalgic home run. And I agree, it's 3.75.
I thought you were going to say 8.
No.
I give it an 8. All right. 2 3.75s to 3. Again, I think it's a well-made movie. I think it's a funny comedy film. I don't think it's a well-made movie per se. And I don't need like a fucking incredible linear plot in a comedy. I just said before that Airplane's like better than this, and Airplane's ridiculous. But it just, I guess for me, expectations of people I know work against this for me. Because it's another case of like everybody saying, you've never seen Caddyshack, it's a fucking classic. And then I watch it and go, yeah, it's good. But like, I don't feel like, boy, if I had never seen Caddyshack, I think I would have gotten out of this like life okay. Like I wouldn't have gotten to like the pearly gates of St. Peter, and he would have been like, "You see Caddyshack?" And I'd be like, "No," and he'd be like, "Fuck off to hell." I don't think that would have happened now.
Yeah, nostalgia is a huge thing with it, and I think also seeing it a few times, you see the little things that you maybe missed the first time. And of course, if you saw it when you're young, you see him now, you know to look for him already coming in.
Yeah.
So that is a huge thing, I feel like. But when I, not watched it in a long time and I watched it, 6 months ago, I thought it was funny. And then I watched it again this time and I actually was a little higher on it just because I was like, oh yeah, okay, oh right, oh yeah.
You're watching with that critical, the pint eye.
Yeah, that's
what we do here, Sal. That's what we do
it's
here.
Very, esteemed ratings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quarter and half scale optional. All right. So that was this episode, Caddyshack. In about, from the time this comes out, in about a week, I think, is going to be live stream for The Cure number 8. May 31st, 8 o'clock p.m. We are going to be on under the banner of Stu World Order with our good buddy Stu. Scary Larry's joining us. Pretty Please with Sugar on Top. Come visit us. Come drop in. If you could drop $1, $2, $150, whatever you could drop, because it's for a very, very fucking important thing. Say fuck you to cancer, which is super important to everybody on this fucking earth. It's not important to any one of us. It's important to all of us. We've all been put through the ringer on that one. So May 31st, 8 p.m. May 29th, which is May 31st is a Friday. May 29th is a Wednesday. That's when the whole thing starts off. So drop in, watch independent podcasters such as our friends The Contrarians, such as our friends So Wizard, such as our friends The Countdown. We Watch The Thing. All these great podcasts that we love so much. They're going to be doing segments. They're going to be raising money. So just drop in, watch, donate, have a good time. But we want to see you on ours. We need your emotional support. So, Manster, tell everybody where they can find us, and then tell them to see you.
Find us on all your podcatchers, Facebook and YouTube. It's The Pint, a pop culture podcast, Instagram and Threads. It's at The Pint Podcast. And Patreon Insider. Go ahead and do that, because that's pretty great. www.patreon.com/The Pint. See ya. It's in the hole. It's in the hole.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.